Welcome to Community Connection. I'm your host, Sarah Clark, and with me today I have Asher Garfinkel, the Executive Director of the Santa Barbara Arthritis Foundation, or actually I should say it's the Central Coast Arthritis Foundation,
That's right.
and Richard Yates, co-owner of Opal Restaurant,
Yes.
and also honorary co-chair of the Taste of the Town event.
A dual role. Yes.
Thank you so much for being on the show with me today. I've heard so much about Taste of the Town over the years, and Cox is always proud to be a supporter and sponsor of that event. So I'd love for you to tell us a little more about the history of the event and also what we have in store for us this year.
Well, the event started 32 years ago now, right, Asher? With Mary Kendall.
That's right.
Yeah. Who was the head of the local Santa Barbara Arthritis office. And just as a grassroots effort, they got a bunch of volunteers together and created this wonderful food and wine tasting event. Actually, the first one in town. So it's the premier event, both in terms of time and also in terms of, well, we think, in terms of the best.
And 32 years later, some of those volunteers are still helping us to this day.
Wow,
Yeah.
so that's fascinating. So it started as a fundraiser for the Arthritis
That's
Foundation,
right.
and it's just grown from there. Because I know now there's other food and wine, wine it's become more popular over the years. There's different food and wine festivals, but this was the first of its kind. And tell us a little bit about the event and what makes it so unique.
Well, it's always the second Sunday in September, so it's after Labor Day. It's still that beautiful time of year when it's summer in Santa Barbara, and just a little tiny bit cooler, but beautiful. So it's a great afternoon. We'll have wonderful live music from Dave Tovar and his band, and 40 great restaurants and 40 great wineries. So sampling of a little bit of everything from our area. That's great.
So once you buy a ticket, everything is complimentary once you get in for
Yes.
the wine and
That's
food.
right.
And it's great because it's like one-stop shopping. You just come in and you get all of Santa Barbara County right here convening in this one area, and you get to sample it all.
Wonderful. So talk about some of the restaurants and wineries that are going to be joining us this year.
Let me mention too that one thing that's added, one thing that's great about the event is it keeps being progressive. Every year it evolves. We have, as Asher said, this wonderful core of volunteers who've been with us from the beginning. But what Tina, my business partner at Opal, and I love about the event is that it just keeps evolving and keeping itself fresh every year by adding new things. So this year there's going to be a significant presence of local beer crafters as well.
Oh.
So there'll be Island Brewing Company, Figueroa Mountain, and quite a few others. So that's one thing that's just recently been sort of grafted onto the event.
And just last year, we welcomed the Urban Wine Trail.
Right.
So a loosely associated group of like-minded wineries who are very close to the downtown and the beach area. And we gave them their own pavilion, and they're going to be together. And it was wildly popular last year.
Bet. That
So
sounds
we're going to do
wonderful.
that again, and they're very excited about participating.
That
Yeah.
sounds really wonderful. So if you're a foodie, what is especially exciting about this event? I know I've heard something about a lead chef. What's that all about?
Well, there's an event within event, in addition to the main tasting event, which, 600, 700, 800, 900?
We keep on moving upwards.
Yeah,
Yes.
will attend. There's a smaller group that's dedicated to a group of donors who will be able to help a little bit more to support the cause. And in order to thank them for that, we've created this great connoisseurs event, which will feature a great local winery and several great local wineries, Foxen and Falcone and
Epiphany.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Connoisseur Circle is taking place at El Encanto the Friday night before
okay.
Taste of the Town, which is on a Sunday. And this is for sponsors, VIP donors, and their guests. So we give them a little extra something, and it's an exclusive interactive experience with our honorary lead chef. A couple of years ago we had Fabio Viviani. This year we have executive chef Patrice Martineau of the newly refurbished El Encanto. And what better way to celebrate their reopening than to, for us to partner with them on a wonderful Santa Barbara tradition, because both of them are wonderful Santa Barbara traditions. So he's going to be implementing and designing a menu for these VIP guests on that Friday evening. It's going to be really something special this year, taking place at El Encanto for the first time.
And is that a full dinner for that evening, or is that more of a tasting similar to the event, or what is that?
It sort of culminates into a dinner. There's a progressive tasting menu that goes on for about 5 courses, and then we all convene in a ballroom to finish things out with some more substantial dishes.
Wow, that sounds like quite a treat.
And a great prelude to the main event, which they'll also be attending. And that's definitely the one where all the tastes of the town literally are there. So
Right, and it's so nice to have it all in one place, so get a little bit of everything and try new restaurants that you maybe haven't tried yet, or be reminded of restaurants in town you haven't been to in a while.
Exactly, yeah. It's wonderful too how it's a great showcase for new restaurants to come in. Again, as the El Encanto reopening, and there's one called Lark, I think, that's opening in the downtown that we hope will participate as well. And there's quite a few. It's always a good mix of new and old, so it's really fun, that one.
Opal is, of course, a perennial
that's right.
favorite.
Yes, don't want to forget Opal.
But we're also
Shamelessly
looking forward to welcoming Caudario and Il Faustino, Blush, many
Petros
others.
is going to join us, the new Greek place, and so quite a good selection of local restaurants in there.
Wonderful. So it's obviously an event a lot of people in Santa Barbara have already been to, and hopefully we'll get a lot of new people to join this year. But what's new about this year that people haven't seen before?
Well, definitely the greater emphasis on the beer this time. We'll have we're hoping 5, 6, maybe more local breweries to join us, and we'll try to have them in their own area if we can as well. I think it'll be really a fun thing to do. So there'll be a lot of variety of different kinds of things to taste. And in addition to just regular savory food, there'll be lots of dessert items there too. So just in case.
My eyes just got a lot wider.
I
Dessert.
thought chocolate maybe.
Yes, maybe, perhaps.
Renault's always serves up something really nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
And are there is it all restaurants, or are there some catering companies?
Some caterers
as
will
well?
be attending this year as well.
Well, because I'm
So
thinking about
it'll be-
desserts. I know there's some dessert people in town. Maybe they'll be joining.
We will definitely make sure it's a well-rounded experience.
Okay.
We want to entice people in every way possible. So
Wonderful. Well, the event sounds amazing. I really hope to make it this year to check it out, and that a lot of our viewers can make it. Let's talk a little bit more about the organization that it supports, the Arthritis Foundation, and your history, the organization's history, and what you guys do.
Yeah, so the organization, the foundation office in Santa Barbara was started in the 1960s by this woman named Mary Kendall. And since then, it's blossomed into a real presence within our area. And we have become a hub of information and resources, referrals, sometimes even comfort for people who are suffering with arthritis. And 50 million Americans suffer from, have arthritis, doctor-diagnosed arthritis. That's 1 in 5 Americans. Chances are people who are watching right now either have arthritis. I'm not a betting person, but I bet that, chances are people who are watching either have arthritis or a loved one has arthritis. And it's the #1 cause of disability in the United States, and to the tune of $128 billion each year in medical care and indirect expenses like lost wages. And the thing that is really shocking to me, I've been with the foundation for a little over a year, and I didn't even know this coming in, but I was very shocked to learn that kids get arthritis too. 300,000 kids under the age of 18 have arthritis. And you can just imagine, being a kid and sort of trying to advance with your friends and become a teenager and have a regular social life and academics and so forth, and being inhibited with the disability and immobility of sometimes a 90-year-old. And so we are working hard to put an end to that, both juvenile arthritis as well as adult arthritis. The myth out there is that arthritis is an old person's disease, whereas really 2/3 of all people who have arthritis are under the age of 65. So it's quite shocking, and it's expensive for the families. It's emotionally difficult for whoever goes through it, as well as their families. And there are just awful side effects. There are medications out there, but there are awful side effects. So we are trying to fund research for both better treatment options as well as ultimately a cure.
And has there been any progress in both of those areas, in medication and treatment options, and just any movement and progress towards a cure, hopefully?
Certainly, we're moving forward. We are absolutely progressing, and the medications get better and better. One pharmaceutical company just came out with an oral medication, whereas this is the first ever, whereas prior to that, it was always given in the form of an injection or an infusion, which takes time and is really expensive. And this has simplified things. Imagine just being able to suddenly take this medication in pill form. On the osteoarthritis side of things, osteoarthritis is sort of the wearing down of the joints, where bone rubs against bone, and we are advancing with research efforts in terms of finding better treatment options for joint replacements, and safer and more effective, quicker turnaround recovery time, and that kind of thing.
And what kind of programs and services do you offer to our local community for people with arthritis?
Sure. We certify and equip instructors with what we call our programs for better living. Any physician you talk to will say that the best treatment right now for arthritis is to keep moving. And so we really support aquatics programs, walking programs, exercise programs, Tai Chi, that kind of thing. We also serve as a kind of referral service. Somebody gets diagnosed with arthritis, whether it's a child or an adult, and that's a scary time for them. They come to us, and we serve as this hub, and we say, well, if you think you have rheumatoid arthritis, we have a referral list of these rheumatologists. Or if you think you're suffering with osteoarthritis, we have relationships with these doctors, and many of whom volunteer for us and are wonderful supporters of the foundation.
Wonderful. And aside from raising money for the organization, it sounds like this event's a great opportunity to let people know more about arthritis and what they can do to help.
Absolutely.
And how to get involved.
And to help do that, we have a couple of honorees. We have a youth honoree, a young woman named Francesca Totorello, who is 17, and she was diagnosed when she was 12 with arthritis, and she has been living with it and coping with that for quite some time, as well as a medical honoree, Dr. Michael McGuire, who initially diagnosed her, and he's a pediatric orthopedic surgeon here in town.
Wonderful. Well, Richard, what inspired you to get involved?
Well, I think, as Asher was saying, it's so shocking when we all have that concept that it's an old person's disease, or your body wears out or gets crippled, and then to realize that it could affect people of all ages. It's so widespread, and which is so surprising to find that out. And when Tina and I found this out, we definitely said, wow, that's something we'd like to get involved with, because it seems like almost everybody, as Asher was saying, either could have it or somebody close to them could have it. And it just was so wonderful then to find out that there was the Taste of the Town, an event kind of up our alley that we could be part of, and help to raise both funds and awareness, which is so important. Because once you know how widespread something is, it's something you want to do something about. And it might even be more widespread than cancer or diabetes, and because there's so many different forms of it too. That's the other shocking thing.
Right.
So when we found all that out, we just wanted to jump in and get involved. So.
Well, thank you for your involvement and giving back to the community. I can't wait to go to the event and try all this wonderful food.
It'll be really fun.
I urge our viewers to go to the website.
It's tasteofthetownsantabarbara.com. So tasteofthetownsantabarbara, one word.com.
And buy tickets, support this great organization, and have some good food and wine and beer while you're at it. Thanks again for coming on the show today.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Community Connection. We'll see you next time.